a showcase on the Eskarlor, which is the new TIKIT gacha creature. So the Eskarlor is a tier 3. It's available in the TIKIT gacha, like I said earlier, and you have about a 33.3 chance of getting it. So its growth time is around 40 minutes, which is pretty long for a tier 3, but it's not terrible. Alright, so let's take a look at the description. So they're regal pack carnivores who live in higher climates. They hold themselves to a high standard, so sort of fitting the prince themed. And when threatened, they rear up and flaunt their knives in a slashing motion, which is describing the aggro animation, which you guys will see later. So in appearance, it's a medium-sized bipedal creature. It's got 2 long sword-like arms. They each end in 3 talons and a blade. Its back and tail are covered in fur and what looks like scale armor. And from its head, it's got like 2 long antlers, and it has a heart-shaped fin. Alright, so males have like 4 angular fins near the side of their tails. And females have 2 fins on both sides of their heads, as well as a tuft of fur below the base of their tail. So for abilities, the Eskarlor has bleed defense, keen observer, ligament tear, and reflect attacks. Reflect attacks is pretty cool. It's like a defensive ability. And keen observer, you can see the HP of like other creatures, which can be helpful sometimes. So yeah, for carryable creatures, it can carry a lot of smaller creatures, mainly like tier 1s and 2s. However, for what it can be carried by, it is carried by most creatures that are like tier 4, tier 5, but nothing really below that. So it is of a decent size for gameplay. Okay, let's move on into the actual game. To get into it. So it does have a pretty cool color palette, as you can see here. It's pretty customizable with like the oranges, yellows, blacks, as well as pinks and purples, which most creatures don't really have such a variety of colors. Alright, so this is going to be a male because I don't own the spec. But a female does have those fins and that bottom tail there. So, yeah. It is a really cool creature. You can sometimes see the daggers sort of catch the light, which I really like. And the amount of detail put into this creature is amazing. I love it. But let's take a look at the animations. So first let's start with the attack. Okay, well, I'm not a huge fan of this animation. It's a very like mid animation. I'm really used to like a lot of head motion, like most creatures bite, but I think the reason they've mainly done an arm animation for the attack maybe could it be because of the Empaterium and how it was criticized because it didn't attack with its swords, but instead with its beak. So yeah, it's a decent thing. Alright, next let's look at the cower animation. Sort of cute. It's like covering its head with its little like talons. It's so cute. But yeah, it's a nice animation. Next, let's take a look at the aggro animation. So this one is one of the most, like, the best animations I've ever seen. It is really cool, like, the way it slashes out. It was described in the description, like, earlier. But yeah, it is super cool. Love that animation. Next up, we have the mudroll animation. So, sort of giving fish vibes again. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Mudroll animation. Alright, so that's it for the animations. Next, let's talk about news. So as for news, the Corvirax has been mentioned a lot recently. It's supposed to be a Recode early access supporter badge creature, where if you spend any amount of any amount of Robux in the Recode, you get the Corvirax. However, they are talking about having it be purchasable in the public Recode for 275 Robux. which doesn't make it as exclusive anymore like the Kuruku. And I really hope it becomes sort of like the Kuruku because that would be fun. Next, we have the new summer creatures coming out, so I'm pretty excited for those. And next, we also had the Vahayaks released recently. A lot of people refer to it as the Karathos' pet dog. It's a pretty cool creature. So yeah, I might be doing a showcase on that too soon. Alright, well that is it. Thank you so much for watching today, and that's it for me. Bye!